All right, guys, we're back this week and there's plenty to talk about. England can't seem to find a coach. Even when they won, the talking point is the body language of the coach. Why is the coach arranging cones? This one, there is so much. With England, talking point is actually way more important than the real substance of the game. Well, they claim to be the owners of the game of football and they claim to know it more than every other person. What is it really there for anybody to teach the English other than to just observe them and enjoy when they fail? And also, look at them in their glorified arrogance. There's something about English journalists that always get me laughing. They can manage to find a way to pronounce names like Lewandowski, Szczesny, Blasowski, but they cannot pronounce Inte in Waneri. You see them struggling here and there, but just small name like Inte Waneri should not be a problem. But then with English people, nothing. Why they can't get a coach? Well, if that is a problem, it's easy to solve. At least they are winning with who they have. In the case of Nigeria, we played a game against Libya in Uyo, won by the odd goal, 1 goal to nothing. Very, very late. Moses Simon got the ball on the left, faded the defender into oblivion, passed the ball. Dele Bashiru was there. Super sub came on and was there to put the ball in the old onion bag, and Nigeria won 1 goal to nothing. But the post match, the coach of Libya set the tone to what is now happening in Libya to Nigerian Super Eagles and its traveling contingent. They said that they were not treated well when they came to Nigeria. Nigeria, in turn, fired back to say, yeah, they called us and told us that they're coming, but then they did not give us update until they were already airborne that they were going to land in Port Harcourt. And so they landed in Port Harcourt, travel by road. It's not a big deal. Somewhere in June, it happened with what's it called, South Africa as well. So we thought, well, no big deal, nothing is going to happen. But unfortunately, unlike the South African game, it wasn't back-to-back doubleheader. We played South Africa and then we went on to go play Benin Republic. But this time around, it's a different conversation. As we played Libya on Friday, and now we're supposed to play Libya today or tomorrow. But stories allegedly coming out of Libya, because there is nobody, as at the time we're doing this show, there's nobody really willing to talk, and you're trying to reach out to everybody. Even the journalist Toby Adepoju is there, his phone is not reachable, he's incommunicado. NFF officials, we're not hearing from them. But then there's one man who's been in this kind of situation. You know, when Arsene Wenger was called a specialist in failure by Jose Mourinho, this man is a specialist in this type of situation. He's traveled with teams. As a matter of fact, his journal or his memo, 1,000 times on the same road, which I urge everyone to buy and read, have way more stories like this. Stories like grown-ass men, commissioner of sports, missing up with grown-ass men like Chris Eseka, agreeing to carry footballers to Egypt without international passport. Some things you hear that are not possible and you think it cannot happen. But then with Nigeria, what God cannot do does not really exist. It happened. Going for matches and going to drive around the roundabout and coming back to Nigeria without playing the match. It happened. This man would explain, try to make sense of what is now happening in Libya from his own bird's eye view, based on his personal experience with Dolphin. I'm talking about our ancestor, Chinaman. China actually query man. I added China man. There was wrong with me. I don't know, but we're having a talk before the show started. What's with the query man on his name? Maybe we should put everybody now should be identifying themselves where they come from. China, let's start with you on this. Before we go talk about other people, the Bible says remove the sawdust in your eye before you remove the plank in another person's eyes. So let's start with our own problem. What have you heard? How do we make sense of it? And you can also share your own experience. Let's use it to compare notes, whether there is a possibility that we can still have the game played tomorrow or not. China,
Yeah,
over to you.
truth be told, I was in Uyo for the Super Eagles game against Libya. Yes, I was in Uyo for the Super Eagles game against Libya, but I did not hear about the Libyan travel arrangement to Uyo. I never knew that would be controversy. until that post-match meeting, right? But then we had what happened to the Nigerian team. The truth is that the North Africans will want to cash in on every opportunity. I heard you say no big deal traveling by. It's a big deal traveling by road if you didn't want to travel by road. But was it caused by the Nigeria Football Federation? I would say no to that. Miscommunication. I heard the statement from the NFF where they talked about not hearing from the Libyans. So those things happen. But trust the North Africans to blow it out of proportion. Pictures of their players sitting on the airport floor and all of that, they can blow it out of proportion to make a big deal out of it. And that's what they're using now to ensure the Nigerian team has a wrong treatment out there in Libya. So yes, the Libyans felt undone by the NFF. They felt, I pick my words carefully, they felt undone by the NFF and they're exacting their revenge. The NFF has said, no, you did not communicate with us. We have no idea. And by the time we try to suggest an alternative means for you, you chose to travel by road, which you did. And thank God you arrived safely. So these are all things that happen in football. Now, on that thing you have to understand, the Libyans have no issue with Nigeria per se. They are not in our local partners. They're not dragging anything with us. They want the 3 points. So they can topple Benin Republic and finish second. If they can frustrate the Nigerian team enough to get the 3 points, that's what they want. So they've done what they are doing. Now, the latest I heard from Libya was a statement from the captain, Trent Ekong, saying they will not play the game. I don't know how far that's been taken. But the truth is that in African football, we see a lot of this dark arts in football. We see a lot of this. It happens in African football. Unfortunately for Nigeria as a team, we are at the end of this. I don't know how we're going to get out of this. If the team returns, I believe that between yesterday and now, there will be a lot of communication. Nigeria, NFF, CAF, Libyan government, a lot of that will be going, and we want to wait to see what CAF will say about this. But eventually, I think the match will be played. Whether it's tomorrow or at a later date, the match will be played. That's what I think, Matthew.
All right. So just before, while we're still brooding on whether the game will be played or not, some people say the game will not be played. I doubt that. But CAF has also set a precedence. I think it was last season in the CAF Confederations Cup where this type of situation happened and the match was awarded. I don't know if that situation would happen, but let's go back in time to your own personal experience. This has happened to your team before, not really the making of the North African team, but probably, I don't know what happened. Let us in on that story.
In 2015, Matthew, Dolphins were supposed to play against Club Africain in Tunisia. I think they cashed in on our disorganization to get us to have us walked over. Now, we as Dolphins are supposed to travel 2 days to the game. Our flight was to go from Port Harcourt to Lagos, from Lagos to Dubai, from Dubai to Tunisia, and we have to arrive a full 24 hours before the game. That would have given us enough rest to play the game. But on the day of departure, our players chose not to travel because we are being owed lots of money in salaries, in match bonuses, and they thought, they didn't want to travel. So all that negotiation and pleading with the players, we missed our flights to Lagos. By the time we got on that flight to Lagos, we had missed the flight to Dubai, and all that stopover and wait for the next available flight. We had to arrive in Tunisia just 1 hour to kick off. And that's where the Tunisian gamesmanship started, and that art. We arrived 1 hour to kick off, and they first kept us at the airport for as long as possible, immigration formalities. And when we finally left the airport, they just took us on the tour of Tunis, round and round the town, ensuring that we are on the road till walkover formalities have been done. And while we are communicating with the stadium, once they had walked us over, they drove the bus to the stadium for us to find out we have been walked over. That's what happened. So that was our own making first. And then they cashed in on our disorganization and ensured that we were walked over. That happened in 2015, Club Africain against Dolphins FC.
Well, 9 years ago, it may have been the fault of Dolphins, but 9 years later, it is Nigeria, Libya. Libya, Tunisia, not too far. They may have gotten wind of it and they may have taken from that playbook and say, you know what, like you said, we may not be having anything with Nigeria, but if we can manage to frustrate them enough to pick up 3 points, we just might be going to the AFCON on the back of Ganatrol and his Beninoa team. Well, we'll see how that pans out on its own. I want to ask you this, as a Nigerian football fan, as a journalist, as a football pundit, if all these thing is sorted out and eventually we get entry into Libya, do you suggest that we go play the game?
Listen, that will be between the players, the NFF, and the sports ministry because I don't think the Libyans wanted us to not play the game. They wanted to frustrate us enough. If you stay in one place for too long, you're going to miss workout sessions. You're going to miss training sessions. So that's what they want. So we go into the game unprepared for the game. If we have spent 12, 18, 24 hours at the airport, as the case may be, and going to play a game tomorrow, you realize that if we are checked out of the airport in good time, the players would have had enough sleep. They probably would have had a workout session this morning which they have missed, and another session this evening which they're going to miss. So you're going to miss 2 workout sessions, no stretching, and you go straight into a game. That's what the Libyans wanted. And that gives them the advantage. But then again, the federation should look into what CAF says about all of this. You don't want to take any action that will affect the whole qualifying race and not just this game. So it behoves on the NFF to look at can we sacrifice this match in terms of going to play and damn the consequences? But I'm trying to put my finger at what happens if we choose to boycott this game. Is it just losing 3 points and 3 goals? Or does it affect the whole qualifying race? It's left for the NFF to look at all these technicalities and know what to do. But when we play that game tomorrow, the Libyans have the advantage. They've stopped us from focusing on the game for 24 full hours. That's what they wanted. Not about us missing the game. They wanted this.
Well, the history in football is very, very rich with different events like this. A team did not qualify for the 1992 Euros. They were at the beach. They were having fun on their various holidays when they were called to come participate. Their best player, Michael Laudrup, told his younger brother, Brian Laudrup, that look, they are looking for people that they will mock. I'm not coming. If you want to go, maybe you need it for yourself. But me, I'm already a big player. Barcelona, Real Madrid are on my CV. So I don't really care about going to the Euros because we're going to be embarrassed. We've not prepared. This is coming on the eve. Well, the rest, as it says, history. They went on and they won it. Well, then if you look again, we've been in this type of similar situation before. Nigeria versus Sudan. The match was supposed to be played in Khartoum. Last minute, Sudan decided, let's go to Omdurman. Some players were released by their clubs, but they did not show up for the game for Nigeria. Amadou Shabu managed to rally the troop that he's got. Yakuba Igbeni and co went in, and Nigeria were not used to winning away from home at the time, but we beat Sudan 4-0. Before then, nobody goes to Sudan to win anyway, but we beat them 4-0, or is it 4-1? I stand corrected. But we've also seen the under-23 national team of Nigeria abandoned, left for dead. I mean, that one I played a major role. I would say that I was it was on my blood that team went to, as far as it went, and they went all the way to Manos to go play against Japan. Japan had been in Manos 3 weeks before Nigeria arrived, 5 hours to the game. But guess what? Nigeria still went on to beat Japan. So there are possibilities that we can win. There are possibilities that we cannot win, whatever happens. But like Chana have said, we should look at what the rule says so that we don't go and do something that will not say, okay, for doing this, you not only forfeit the qualifiers for this game, but you are banned from participating in the AFCON. And those people who always say, without Nigeria, the tournament not go sweet. You want to sweet there. Qatar was very sweet, even if we're not there. But let's talk about some people who believe that they own football, but football is looking like football has disowned them. The English national team. They've had a plethora of fantastic players, amazing players. You would have thought that with England coaching shouldn't be a problem. They have one of the best league in the world, if not the number one, but at least one of the top 5 best league in the world. And everybody comes there to play. But then they're the only country in the last 31 years that their countrymen have not won their league. And the best players always playing in their league comes from abroad. So, Bobby, what's the word on the streets in the UK? The coach that you have today, the caretaker coach, Kali or Kali Casley or Kali Bier, or I don't know. What's his position? 1 minute, I don't want to coach. I want to go to under 20s. Next minute, I want to coach. There's a whole lot of confusion. Yes, he won against Finland 3-1. Everybody's supposed to be happy, but it doesn't look like they're happy. I mean, when you turn on the media today for the English people, the noise is worse than that of a mighty Russian win. What is happening in England?
Well, in England, Lee Casley is still the manager. Though Lee Casley, the problem with Lee Casley does not show that he's in control from the way he speaks, from the way he acts. Today he's talking about, I like the under 20, I want to go, this, that. Nobody has told me I'm getting the job. I haven't applied for the job. It's like he's not in control. Like he's on probation. He's on probation. But that's not all in all. All in all, England requires a coach with authority, standing, background, definitely a very good philosophy and ideology. You could say Casley has that philosophy, but does he have the command of the team? The clout. Does he have the clout? Does he have the aura? Does he have the charisma? You understand? And if you look at the team. Yes, he sacrificed the steel, he sacrificed efficiency, the rigidity, came with flair, dynamism, but he has lost certain things.
But isn't that what they want for the English national team?
The problem is that the English, do they really know what they want?
Oh,
the problem with the English is that their self-entitlement deprives them from getting coaching success. They feel there's a way they are meant to play. They feel that there's certain players that are meant to play. You understand? So all those issues coming together, coupled with their arrogance, that they feel that they produce the best. Since they produce the best players, they have the best league. They should produce the best. They should definitely have the best players and the best coaches. But it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way at all. Look at the team now. The team looks chaotic. It doesn't look organized. It doesn't look settled. It looks chaotic. Like, look at their instances in that game where though Finland are not, they are poor in front of goal. They had chances. But during those chances, you will find out that England had like 8 people in the box. But with the 8 people in the box,
no one is marking.
Nothing. Yeah. It's just chaos. No leaders. Look at the goal that Finland scored towards the end of the game. They had like 9 players in the box. It's crazy. There's no organization. There's no structure. That structure is no longer there. Yes,
same way with the Pavlidis goal for the second goal scored by Pavlidis for Greece.
That game,
like 8, I mean 7 English players in the box.
That game could have been like 5-1, to be honest. Like 5-1. Because if you check the offside goals, the goals that were cancelled, then other chances that they had. Nah, the team is lost the structure. So if Casley is going to remain, they have to find the balance. But the word on the street is that Eddie Howe still looks likely, and there's still that notion that it might end up being a foreign coach. It might end up being a foreign coach. There are some stories that they're tipping Tuchel, but we see as it goes. I still don't think. I'm still not convinced that Casley will be dropped yet. I'm still not convinced because there might be English people from the FA, they might want to back. And when they look at the way Southgate moved, his progression, they might say, let's still stick with him. So I'm not yet convinced that he's going to be dropped.
China, let me come to you here. One player that have been hounded, victimized, shouted out, even when he's doing well, is Trent Alexander-Arnold. And, my problem with this is that now I'm confused. In this game against Finland, he played as a left fullback. He's a right fullback today, left fullback tomorrow, central midfielder the next day. What is Trent Alexander-Arnold's best position? And what would he do to earn praises from the English media?
Is that to me or to
I don't know
China?
what he can
Okay, it's
do.
China,
To
yeah.
He
China.
came in as a right back. But yeah, even in all his time playing as a right back, it was obvious that he'll be good in central midfield. His passes, you know. He has been tried in central midfield by Jurgen Klopp and a few times by Southgate. So people would always complain. As a fullback, the complaint was he's good going forward, but not good defensively. That's the complaint. But when you have a fullback who's always forward, playing the role of a right winger, you must expect defensive lapses, especially when he doesn't get enough cover when he moves forward. So I think that Trent will just do what he has to do, and people will praise him when he does well, like they praise the past three England games. And when he does badly, he'll get the stick. So he's not. I don't think he's a favorite of the English press. I don't think he is. But he'll just do what he has to do. He's going to get stick when he does badly, but now he's doing well with the national team. So he's going to get praises, and he's getting praises right now. He is.
Bobby, the news or the noise around Man United have died down a bit, but let's take it to North London, the red half of North London, not bother the red half of North England right now, but we'll still come there before the show runs out. The injuries are piling up for Arsenal. Another one bites the dust. Bukayo Saka is crooked. Mikel Merino came back, but not been convincing in the last two games that he's played. We don't know if Odegaard will come back immediately after the international break. I don't know how long Bukayo Saka will be out for yet. Not fully confirmed. Some say 3 weeks, some say 6 weeks. We don't know. Is Arsenal season going to crumble even before it starts with these injuries? Because I mean, say for it's in Waneri, I don't see anybody covering for Bukayo Saka, and I've been one of those who's been saying get Mohamed Kudus or Adingra, but it seems like the desire to make him poster boy of the team have made it almost impossible to look for his backup. It's the chicken, in the words of Chief Adokie Amesiamaka. Is the chicken coming home to roost for Arsenal right now?
These are tricky times. They are tricky times for Arsenal. Very, 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 very tricky times. But these are the times that test the mental fortitude of the team. They test the tactical awareness of the coach. They test the mentality of the squad itself, and also tests the size of your squad. Yeah, I was always saying it in the summer that Arsenal need to get a backup, not necessarily a backup, but they need to get an alternative to Saka, someone else who can compete with him on the wings, with a striker. Those two things were key. They were very key, and the midfield as well. They didn't do any of that. I basically think Ethan Nwaneri will be the one to step into the shoes. They have no choice, and he's not bad, but though he's still a greenhorn. But Arteta will have to take that risk. He will have to take that risk. Saying that it's Arsenal's season coming to roast. No. I still, the reason why I would say that Arsenal can scale through is because of Arteta. Arteta is a very good manager. Very, very good manager. He's been proving it, but this season in particular, he has shown traits. He has shown things that he has won games, collected points from places where old Arsenals don't do. Old Arsenal will not draw with City with 10 men. Old Arsenal will not beat Tottenham at White Hart Lane, right? Yeah.
Yeah, 3-point lane, yeah.
Oh, yeah, 3-point lane. Old Arsenal will not get a point away at Atlanta with those injuries. So because of Arteta, I think he will find a way till some of these trusted soldiers will get back. It's not going to roast. Arsenal are still in a good place. Yes, they made some good signings. Yes, they have some young players that I believe that can step in. So I believe Arteta will find a way. He will find a way.
Next couple of games for us now. You have Bournemouth immediately on the weekend, 5:30 p.m. And then after that, Tuesday in the Champions League. For people like China now, I go shame. Arsenal is not playing on Thursday again. They're playing on Tuesday now. Last time they played on Tuesday, they're going to play on Tuesday again. China, ooh, shame on you. Yes, Arsenal will play Shakhtar Donetsk, 8 p.m. on Tuesday. And then in the weekend, on Sunday, this one is very, very important.
Yeah.
Bang, gang, 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 gang,
Bang, bang,
gang.
bang.
Arsenal plays Liverpool at the Emirates.
Woo.
The Liverpool that we have on that slot is a very difficult Liverpool. Are they beatable? Some conversation is that Nottingham Forest game came in at the right time. There's a talk of William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes being the best defender in England for the past 3 seasons, and you would struggle to argue against it. But Virgil van Dijk and what's it called? The guy that he pairs with in centre back now.
Kanouté.
Yeah, Kanouté have become.
Konate.
Kanouté have become solid as a rock. They become. Nobody's talking about them. People pretending like it's not happening. They've considered only 1 goal this season in the Premier League, if my memory serves me right, or 2. And the way they play, they don't have the kind of defensive midfield pairing that Arsenal have. They don't have ball winners in the middle like Arsenal. And they do not have the back 4 who are centre back like Arsenal. But somehow they've been a lot more solid this season, on the strength of this season. Can we sit here and say Liverpool now have the best centre defensive pair in the Premier League and across Europe? China?
Is that for me or for Bobby? Okay.
For China?
For me, I look at these things differently. I just look at the league table right now, and the Liverpool back line have considered just 2 goals. Could it be luck? Could it be good goalkeeping, yet poor defending? Right? Now, I also understand that. I also don't understand. The Liverpool team of the past hardly used to have attacking teams breaking through them. But this Liverpool team, they are taking so many shots at goal. They're taking so many. So, could it be good goalkeeping? And we saw what Alex did in the last game. But if you want to look at it based on just stats alone, this defense has considered just 2 goals. That's the best defense based on goals considered. But having said that, I want to agree with you and the rest of the group that the Arsenal centre-back pairing has done a marvellous job. But it's too bad. They've considered 6 goals. But they've done a marvellous job. And I will still keep an eye on them. They've done very well.
All right, as we begin to wrap it up, let's talk about one, man that we've not stopped talking about. Victor Osimhen moved to Galatasaray, some fantastic 3 assists. He's also scored 3 goals, and then he got injured. And, is there anything that somebody can advise him about his game that can reduce his injury count? It seems like his injury is the abinger between him going from this great to that great. What can we advise him? I mean, forget whatever nonsense is done, he's still our very own. And we would always know that he's our own and we'll look out for his best interest. Bobby, is there anything he can do differently? Because the injuries are coming now too rapidly. And that is just putting, when you go on a run and then you get injured and then you come back again, you're trying to catch up with the momentum where you were before, and then you get injured again. At some point, the game will leave you. We've seen it with a lot of players. What can Victor Osimhen do different?
I would say there are a couple of things, I think, which I've been saying that he should do to improve his fitness and his longevity, because the difference between that longevity in his career is the injuries. Getting to certain heights is the injuries. Even if some clubs might even take a step back because of those injuries. So I would say, first of all, he has to evolve his style of play, the way he plays, the amount of runs he makes, his timing. He should look at Haaland. Before Haaland joined City, Haaland was an injury-prone player. He gets injuries fervently, consistently, and there are long-term injuries, a lot of muscular injuries. But since he's gone to City, they've worked with him. They've given him a kind of regime. The way he plays is not the same. So you can see he stays fit more. He still gets a few injuries, but he stays fit more. So I would say, first of all, evolve his game. He needs to work on his fitness. And when he's working on his fitness, this has to come in contact, also in tandem with his diet. Because from a particular, I think it was a physiotherapist, one of them, a nutritionist, he said that your diet can also affect your fitness. He has to look at his diet. I think he needs to get a personal physio. He needs to get a personal physio, work on his training. It's not just the trainings you do on the doing training with your teammates. He needs have some other regime plans to work on himself. So with these things, I think he will get better, and those injuries will reduce. Though the medical team of your club is also important. You should have a very good medical team at your team. But these things, he has to do them, and if he does them, yeah, not the injuries will be a thing of the past, but they will be highly reduced, and that will give him longevity in the game, foster his career on the right path.
Well, I hope that Victor Osimhen takes this one to heart and doesn't do a video to mock Bobby and myself and China, hopefully. And we hope that he plays longer, like you mentioned with Haaland. That's just the fact. His game has changed. I remember I was in Dubai when I said if he comes to Man City, he will not need to run the way he's running at Dortmund, and we've seen that happen. So this is where we'll draw the curtain on the show today. Let's do it again on Friday. But until then, thank you to China. Thank you to you, Bobby. And thank you to the rest of the crew.
Welcome.
And to you guys out there watching, thank you. Please do what to subscribe and turn on the notification button. God bless you.